All right, so I want to make this quick video on cold calls, in-person cold calls. This is pertaining to the class 8, class 7, 6, medium duty, wherever the hell you call it, right? Transportation industry, parts and service, right? So if you're selling parts or if you're selling service or anything that you're calling on shops or fleets or anything like that, this is going to be that in-person cold call, that face-to-face interaction, that first touch, first impression type of call, right? So we're going to go ahead and guide through this because as I was looking on YouTube, I couldn't really find anything. I mean, all I found was literally like over the phone, cold call, telemarketing, how to grab someone's attention, how not to get hung up on, right? So this is more pertaining to in person, right? So we're gonna go through the actual goal of the cold call, right? So we're gonna go over the goal of the cold call, what questions you should ask, what should you identify, okay? How you should be building rapport, right? We're gonna go a small little touch base over behavior styles on what to look for, right? And any type of how to identify if there's actual potential within that account, right? So that's key because you want to make sure that you're calling on a customer that has the potential. You want to make sure you qualify that customer, right? Because if you don't qualify that customer, all that time and effort that you literally put into that customer, calling on them 3 months or 6 months or however it is, however many times you're stopping by, is just a waste because they might only have 5 trucks or they might not even be able to make any purchasing decisions whatsoever. Maybe they lease all their units and they don't even get them worked on, right? So this is that in-person call. We're going to go over what to cover, what to look out for, and what's your goal. A lot of people say that the goal is to sell them parts, right? So if I'm selling parts, the goal is to sell parts. No, the goal isn't to sell parts on the first call, right? At the end goal, yeah, we want to sell them parts. So that's part of it, right? But the goal of that first call is to gather information, right? It should be gather information, identify, and actually set a vigilant schedule, right? And actually build rapport, right? So these are all things that you should do that during that first call. Now, if you make a sale during that first call, hey, great job, right? But think about it. If he's easy to give you a sale on the first, he doesn't even know you, he doesn't even trust you. If he's giving you that sale, that first thing, what do you think he's doing to all the other vendors? Say, hey, I need brake shoes. Hey, I need this, right? The goal of visiting customers, especially in the heavy duty industry, when you have a list of accounts, say 60 or 50 or wherever the case is, the goal is to grow roots with that customer, right? So growing roots meaning that, guess what? If you would leave, okay, you're part of their daily business, day in and day out. You're part of their business, right? So if you would leave, it would hurt. They rely on you, right? That's a partnership, right? And when you have that partnership, you grow roots, right? So you're growing roots by making inside connections. You're growing roots by making connections, having, connecting people, connecting a guy who ordered parts to a guy who ordered parts on the inside, building that bridge, right? Because as an outside sales, when you're outside sales, you should be focusing on building that bridge. You're the representative for your company, okay? Whoever you work for, whether it's Peterbilt, whether it's Kenworth, whatever, Fleet Pride, Truck Pro, whatever, okay? You're to bridge the gap, right? So you're fighting for that customer because you care about his business, you know what I mean? But also, you have the company that you have, right? And you have the best interest of the company and the customer at mind, right? And if the company messes up and I work for that company, guess what? I messed up, right? You take ownership for that. You take responsibility for that. That's what that LPS is, to build partnerships, grow roots with that customer. Because if not, as easy as they come to you, if you're working the front counter, as easy as they come to you, as easy as they'll leave, right? They have many options, okay? And in this day and age, oh my God, you have internet, okay, you have Amazon, you have Ottoman, you have all these quick, you can find, Find It Now parts, right? You have all these things, and Find It Now connects to all these different dealers around the US to be able to find their parts, right? And take care of that customer, right? That hurts you, right? You got to set yourself apart from them. If you're just a vendor that stops by and drops off quotes and drops off, hey, here's a quote. You know what I mean? Let me know if you need anything. You know what I mean? What value do you bring? I mean, literally, what do you bring? You know, I mean, is it paper with part specials? I mean, what is it? You know, what do you do for them? Do you take their orders? What sets you aside from the competition? Because anyone could take an order, right? But not everyone could go above and beyond. Not everyone could actual partner with their customer and actually care and actually have empathy for their customer, because that's what it's about, right? So through this cold call, we're going to walk through it. First off, you got to know where the hell you're going, right? So either you're using RigDig for prospecting tool, which is a great job if you are, right? You kind of got a head up or whatever the case is, right? And you kind of know where you're going and know the size of the fleet. So you can kind of qualify the size of the fleet before you even get there, okay? Or you're just driving by, right? So when you're driving by, you see this fleet, you want to stop by, you know what I mean? You drive up and you're going to basically go in there. And the first thing is you got to identify, okay, what am I going to do? Right. So I'm walking up. What's my goal? We already talked about that goal. So we're walking up, we're walking there. There's two options. One, always kind of know your options when you get there. If it says go through the front door and talk to the receptionist, if you're a salesman, you can do that. And sometimes you should, but it really depends on how the dynamic is. If the shop is right there, you know, it's always better to kind of go where you know the least passive resistance. Act like you know where you're going. Okay. I mean, there's been many times where it says stop by here, right? And every time I would stop by, they would give me this cold shoulder, which is fine. You know what I mean? I'll find another way, but then I'll go back to the shop. I was lost. You know what I mean? So you got to know where you're going. So if you're stopping by that receptionist, okay, and you're going in there, okay, you're investigating, you know, say, hey, is your shop foreman in, or is your parts maintenance manager in? Who normally orders your parts, right? So that's how we're navigating this, right? We're asking questions. Who normally orders your parts? Who should I be talking to, right? So when that person comes up, they're going to come up with two things, right? They're going to be like, oh, that's Bill over here, right? And they'll show you where he is. Or they'll say, oh, well, that's actually so-and-so. He's kind of busy right now. You want to come back? Okay. So that option right there is, okay, you want to come back. Now the next question out of your mouth shouldn't be, okay, well, I'll be back this time. No. You want to ask for permission, right? You want to ask for permission, because permission creates commitment, right? Because they're telling you when to come back. Say, hey, I know he's probably busy all the time, but hey, when's the best time to stop by that he's the least busiest? Maybe to drop off some donuts for you guys or something, some breakfast in the morning or anything like that. When's that best time? You know, and either they say the best time, you know, or they'll say, you know what, he's always busy. Well, hey, that's fine, I get it. Do you have his number or anything like that I could call or whatever like that and possibly schedule an appointment with him? Right? You have its contact information, right? So that first barrier that you see there with that receptionist, okay, there's two streets here, right? You're hitting the receptionist, you're hitting the gatekeeper. Okay, that's what we're facing right now. Now we're gonna face what happens when we actually go in the shop and we're asking this, right? So you ask that, when's the best time to stop by, or what is their contact information, or whatever the case is, so I can set an appointment with them, right? So if they give you that, great, take the contact information and go ahead and set the date. Great, you know what? I'll go ahead and stop by next week on Tuesday or later on this week on Wednesday, right? You want to set that date, okay? And preferably you stop by in the morning, or if you're stopping by in lunch. The reason why is because you want to start, you already noticed the gatekeeper, right? Now you want to start building a relationship with that gatekeeper and building rapport, right? So you're leaving your card, Okay. The next time you come in, you're going to bring donuts. You're going to bring breakfast, right? Bring 2 boxes of donuts. Depends on how big the shop is, right? So you're walking in, you're bringing donuts, you're setting a visual schedule yourself. I'll be back on Monday, right? And you're stopping by every Monday, right? Sooner or later, they're going to give you a shot. Sooner or later, they're going to say, hey, you know what? Bill's actually free. He's right over here. Because every time you're stopping by, you're building rapport with that gatekeeper. You're building that internal advocate with that gatekeeper. And that's key. That's key, right? That's part of growing roots. You want to get to know everybody. You want to make sure you shake everybody's hand and look them in the eye. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. Great to meet you. Thank you very much for taking the time, right? So you want to be sincere, okay? You don't want to be, oh, hey, how you doing? I mean, what are you, 5? You 16 or something like that? I mean, this is your career, you know? So that's how you get past that gatekeeper, right? You be consistent, you be persistent, right? And you be generous and you be sincere, okay? And persistence the key there, okay? Now, the next situation is you're going to walk up, you walk up to the shop, right? And you're saying, hey, is there a shop foreman here? Or who normally orders your parts here? Oh, well, that's Bob over here, right? So, okay, go to Bob. Hey, by the way, my name's Gilbert Laredo, blah, blah, blah. Make your introductions. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Go talk to Bob. Hey, Bob, I'm Gilbert with Bill's Truck Parts, right? Man, I passed by many times and dude, you guys got like a ton of trucks here. How many trucks you guys have, right? And oh, these are like 50 trucks. Yeah, we actually about 65 trucks. Really, how long have you guys been here? So I'm asking questions, I'm identifying the potential, okay, how many trucks they have, and we're going to go over this later on in other training videos, because honestly, I'm going to get off track for a second. There's not very good training videos, right? There's very few good salesmen, and part of that reason is because there's very few good training that's actually applicable, however the hell you say that word, right? That it actually you could take and apply easy. There's all these trainings that are very surface and over, like, just like, how can I say? Oh yeah, identify the potential. Okay, overcome objectives. Okay, you know, tie it up, convince, right? So all these things, but they don't navigate that, right? They don't get down to the details, right? So that's what we're making this video. That's why I'm making this video right now, to help you guys in the field. I've been in the field for a long time. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I face what you guys face. This is for you guys. This is just to take some of that experience that I have to help you guys out in your day-to-day role, right? And how you feed your family. So like I said, I'm walking up, I introduced myself, I identified Bill, right? I'm talking to Bill, right? So we talked about he has 65 trucks, right? So we're going down and we're asking, man, you got 65 trucks. So is it just you work on the trucks, or how many technicians do you got? He might work on the trucks, he might not work on the trucks. The reason why you ask this is because each technician usually has like a quota, not a quota, but usually, I mean, you could dumb it down as easy as you want, 1 truck per day, each technician, right? And you can kind of figure out 2 trucks per day that they work on. You can kind of, and I'll go over this in later on videos on how to identify potential within an account, just based off a tech count and based off a truck count. I could tell you how much that truck is, how much is that account is actually worth, right? But you need to have this information before you go down that path, right? So I'm asking, how many technicians do you have? Oh, well, I got 3 technicians or 4 technicians. Oh, great. How do you guys typically, man, 4 technicians? So, man, how long you been doing this role? And at the same time, I'm building rapport, right? Man, how long you been here? Oh, I've been here for about 10 years. Really? So you always been in this position? I mean, do you like it? Or see, I'm asking questions, I'm building rapport, I'm having him talk. People love to talk about themselves, right? People love to talk about their family, their kids, they love to talk. Okay, it is what it is. We're all selfish somewhat inside. We like to talk about our family, our kids, what we got going on, what we do for a living, what's our career. It's simple, right? We love to talk. So take that out of them. Ask, build rapport, right? So we're building rapport. Says, man, how long you been here? Oh, I've been here 10 years. Really? Have you always been doing this role? What did you used to do before? Oh, I used to be a diesel mechanic. Oh, great, man. I used to be a diesel. Find common ground. Okay. You're going to find common ground when you're there. You got to find it. Okay. Because with common ground, okay, you build a connection, you build trust. Okay. When you find common ground with somebody, it's like looking in a mirror, and you know yourself. And if I mean, you're looking in the mirror, you're like, oh man, this guy's like me. You know what I mean? I could trust this guy. This guy seems like he's a man of his word, or his woman of his word, or her word. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, I think I could take a chance on this person, right? So you're gonna find that common ground. Talk about, man, how long you've been doing this, everything like that, man. And just build that rapport. Okay. Now, as you're navigating this, okay, first off, let me touch base on this real quick. Take your freaking notebook, right? I can't tell you how many times as a regional sales manager where I'm out making calls with a salesman that doesn't bring their stinking notebook, right? That's key. Take your freaking notebook. Okay. How are you going to take notes, right? And one quick touch base on this. A lot of salesmen, well, I take notes off my cell phone. So if I have my cell phone right here, right, and I'm taking notes while I'm talking to you, what does it look like I'm doing? Uh-huh. It looks like I'm not paying attention to you. It looks like I'm too occupied to give you the attention that you deserve as a customer, as a partner, right? No one, if you did that to your girlfriend or your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, whatever it is, if you're like this and you're talking to them, what's the first thing they're going to say? Why you ignore me? Why aren't you paying attention to me? Right? So take a freaking notebook. Okay. Use it. That's key. You look like you're occupied using this. Okay. And you're not giving the attention that they deserve. So don't take your cell phone. Okay. So of course, take your cell phone, but don't use your cell phone. Use your stinking notebook. Okay. As you're taking, I mean, you're not taking notes, you're guiding this call. Okay. Like I said, we're going in there, we're identifying potential, we're building rapport, right? So as you're asking these questions, how many trucks do I have? Okay. Or do you have? How many technicians do you have? Right? They're making a mental note. Because when you walk back to the truck, you're going to write all this crap down. Okay. And anything he needs immediate, you're going to write down right there. Okay. Or any key notes you said, really? Okay. Well, let me write that down. Right. But you don't want to write down how many trucks he has, right? You want to go through that list. These are all questions that were asked, but you're not going to be like, how many trucks do you have? Okay. How many technicians? Okay. How do you order your parts? No, this is not the way you got to guide it. Okay. A sales call should be like a freaking tree, right? It should always go up. It could go many different directions, but the goal is very here at the freaking top, right? It doesn't matter how the hell you get there, but don't lose focus of your goal, because sometimes you'll go off track, right? And if you go off track and you're there for freaking 30 minutes and this guy's already tired and he's already pointing his feet to other directions, already looking at his watch, well, guess what? You done lost his attention, right? And good luck bringing it back. You can if you know how to do it, but many people don't. And they get lost and they say, well, you know what? I got to get back to work. And you just killed that call. You just showed up and throwed up, right? So as you're building rapport, you're going to identify those decision makers, right? Identify those decision makers. You're going to ask them, hey, how do you guys normally order parts here? Is it you that do all the ordering? So like, let's say your needed now parts. Do you normally order that? Or just your parts in general? Or like, let's say if you guys were, and you asked that and you say, yeah, I probably order that. Yeah, I order everything. Or what about brake shoes? Or what about filters? If you got an opportunity to change filters for better pricing, for a better quality product, that could save you money in the long run, and that could resolve a lot of issues. Are you able to make that decision on your own? Or do you have to get somebody else involved? Or who else has to be involved in making that decision? Right? Because you always want to identify the decision makers, because there might not just be one, there might be multiple. Okay. Well, actually, anytime we're changing like a filter line or something that directly affects a truck, right? Filters or brakes, the quality of brakes, the grade, the brand, all that stuff, right? The friction material, FMBSS 121, all that crap, right? So anything that affects that might be going to another decision maker. And you always want to identify that decision maker, right? Because if you're talking to this guy and you're talking about brakes or you're talking about filters, hey, you know what? Can I quote you on filters? One, you should never say, hey, can I quote you on filters, right? No, I mean, it shouldn't just be say, hey, well, let me take that back. You shouldn't just quote somebody on filters. Okay. You have to phrase it right. And we'll go over that in a second, right? So identify that decision makers or decision makers, right? So one or multiple, identify who, okay? And of course, once you identify the other one, you want to make note to build a relationship with that guy also, right? So the next question is, as you're guiding this conversation, you're talking, blah, 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 building rapport, right? You're guiding this, right? Not a list, okay? Next is going to be, okay, well, how do you guys buy your parts? Do you guys typically order like stock orders, or do you guys typically buy it now? Or do you guys, I mean, how do you guys normally order your parts, right? And some places you'll say, I order as needed. Really? And you always want to test these things. Man, you order as needed? He said, yeah, we order everything as needed. So you guys don't even keep oils or filters or wheel seals. I mean, wheel seals, they're pretty cheap, man. And he's like, no, we don't, and 9 times out of 10, they do. And if they don't, say, man, how long does it wait till how long do you guys have a parts runner, or do you pay a $30 technician or $25 an hour technician to go get parts for you? And how long does that normally take? Right? It usually takes a couple hours. It usually takes 2 or 3 hours, especially if you're dealing with Freightliner or any big name like that, where it have the majority of the market share. It takes a while, right? So you want to identify how they order parts, okay? And you also want to identify, and this is key, because you want to identify, okay, how you could help them, right? You want to sell not the product. You want to sell the issues that you could resolve. You want to sell that. You don't want to just sell a product. You want to sell what your product resolves, what you resolve, right? Any type of issues you resolve. That's what you sell. You don't sell this freaking plan, right? You sell why do you need this plan? What is going to fix? What issues is this going to fix that you may not even know about? How can I save you money, reduce downtime, and put more money in your pocket and make your job easier, right? With this plant right here. That's how I have to sell it, right? So, okay. So next is, as you're asking that, and you should always ask this also, you should always say, hey, who do you guys normally buy from? Like, who's your number one vendor? Right. So everybody has a number one vendor. You 9 times out of 10, they do, right? You say, you know what? They call, oh man, I call Billy over here at MHC or whatever the name is, right? I call Billy over there at MHC at the front counter. He takes care of me. He's phenomenal, right? Right. So 9 times out of 10, salesmen get shut down. They're like, oh, well, we take care of you too. I mean, we got delivery. They got delivery. This brings me to a quick question, okay? Because a lot of times I ask this question during an interview for my salesman, right? And when I'm interviewing them, I ask them, how do you sell the sold? Right? Like, sell the sold, sell the something that's already sold. No. How do you sell the sold? How do you sell somebody that's sold on somebody else? Right? So that wants to do business, and some salesmen, they can't answer that. It's just, well, tell them I got better quality product. They got better quality. I mean, products are just as good now. I mean, the products are getting like this now, right? You sell Bendix, I sell Bendix. Oh, you got 5-day week delivery 2 times a day. Oh, well, guess what? I got that too. I mean, you can't one up them all, right? You sell the sold. You literally sell the sold by being persistent. and waiting for that right moment and being persistent, consistent, calling on them, okay, on a vigilant schedule. If it's every Monday, you're calling on them every Monday. You're being persistent, right? So whenever that time comes and they're like, oh crap, you know what? I can't find this part anywhere, you know, you be that guy that when they call you and they give you that shot, that's your foot in the door. That's your opportunity. Because like I always said, opportunities, they're not given, right? They're created. You have to create the opportunity, right? And you making that consistent call is creating that opportunity. When they can't find something, and if they do majority of their business with this guy and they always call this guy, they're sold on MHC, right? You're gonna call, make your sales calls, be persistent, bring by donuts, build report, all that, grow roots, build a partnership, all this stuff. Okay, that's what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna be persistent. And when that opportunity arises, shit, you better take care of it. If they say, man, I can't find this anywhere. I've looked all over the place for this DPF module. I can't find it, right? Can you help me find it? It's off of Volvo. I know you're Freightliner. I know you're Kenworth, or I know you're whatever, right? I can't find it. Can you help me find it? I don't give a shit if you got to buy it off another freaking vendor. I don't give a crap if you have to buy it off of Amazon or Google or whatever the case is. Okay. Doesn't matter. Take care of that customer in that moment, because that is the test. That is the moment that you prove yourself. Okay. So that's how you sell the soul. You be persistent, you wait for that opportunity. That opportunity gets created because of your persistency, and you go above and beyond. You give your customers options, right? So you say, hey, you know what? I can't find it here, but this guy has it. I already called him. This is the price that they'll sell it for, and you're giving them options. Even if that sale is not through you, you help them find it, right? You proved yourself, right? So that's how you sell the soul. Okay. So that's how you get through that, right? Now, when you're there and you say, who do you normally buy from? Who's your number one vendor? Or who's your number one, right? And they say MHC. Okay, great. Now I want to test that. And how I test that is I'm going to go in there and say, man, you know what? I know you buy a lot from MAC and they take care of you, and that's great. I don't ever want to mess that up. I'm not here to replace them. I'm just here to help you. My goal is to help your job be easier with reduced downtime, competitive price, bringing more money to your bottom line. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help, right? So when they know that, and you're asking, you say, you know what? Are you tied to Kenworth? I mean, do you have to buy parts from Kenworth? Or if I could give you a better quality product or similar quality product at a competitive price that could save you money now or later on down the line and keep it in stock for you, would it be an opportunity to switch over? Would you switch over? Do I have an opportunity for your business? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, yeah. You know why they're going to say yeah? And if they say no, you know what the issue is? The issue is you don't have the relationship. The issue is you haven't put in work yet. The issue is they don't trust you yet. That's what the issue is. You haven't built rapport yet. Okay. So when you're asking that, okay, you're asking that, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, no, I'm not tied to nobody. Because nobody likes to be tied to anybody. That's the way it is. No one likes to be tied to anybody. In sales, they want to buy wherever the hell they want to buy. And that's just the fact of it. That's the reality of it. No one wants to be tied to nobody. But by saying that and doing that, you're creating that opportunity, right, to be able to come in and a reason for you to be there, right? You're asking permission. Okay? They're asking permission. I'm going to cut back real quick. When you're first getting there and you're talking to Bill or whatever the hell the guy's name is, I said, right? You always ask for permission for your time. Say, hey, you got like 5 minutes? I know you're busy, but I'll just take your time for 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes? And you always want to judge on how busy they are, right? You want to look at their behavior style, right? And we'll cover behavior styles, and that's part of the identifying, right? We'll cover behavior styles in other videos, but you want to look how they're acting. Are they a D? Are they a I? Are they a C or a S? Or are they a C, right? How do you approach them? If they're a D, you better have your crap in order, right? If they're an I, they're very people focused. If they're a D, they're very task focused. If they're a C, they're very task focused and they do their own research. If they're an S, they buy off of people. They don't really care about the price. They care about what you could do for them. And you got to be able to identify that when that first sales call. Yes, it takes practice. Okay. But some of the greatest salesmen out there, okay, they're chameleons. Okay. They could change the way they communicate. They could change their behavior styles. They could ask different questions to go down a different path and build rapport with an S, which they might not normally be able to do that, or even a C or a D, right? They're chameleons. Good salesmen are chameleons, right? So that's one of the things that you're going to identify: behavior styles. Okay. So are you tied to anybody? Behavior styles, build rapport, build common ground, right? Their buying process, you want to identify how they buy, right? You already asked the potential, right? So you're already asking how many trucks they have, how many technicians they have. Okay, you already identified who their number one supplier is, right? Then you ask, what are you having any major issues? What can I do for you? You know, is there anything I can help you out with, an immediate need or whatever the case is? I mean, what kind of issues are you having? You know, you having difficulty getting any parts? If they say, yeah, I'm having difficulty getting some parts. Actually, I'm gonna tell this little story real quick. I probably don't have time for it. This probably gonna go over, but this is worth saying. Okay, so I had one of my salesmen there. Okay, I'm there. I'm talking to him, and I tell him, I'm like, hey, you know what? Your number's a little down. He's just like, this is a brand new salesman, and he's been there for like 4 months already, 3 months, and I had just hired 2 salesmen at this time, right? So I was like, man, your numbers just down. I got 2 new salesmen. He's like, well, they'll get there. I was, no, I don't think that's what it is. And he's just like, no, they'll get there. I said, no, I don't think so, because your partner over here, she's already selling more than you, and she started at the same time. I said, you know what I think the issue is? I think the issue is the way that you're selling, right? The way that you're selling. And he says, well, that's your opinion. That's my opinion. Okay, great. Close my laptop. What are you doing today? It's going right along, right? So I go out with the guys. I go out with them, make this first cold call. It's not a cold call. We make this first customer visit. This customer visit is a very big fleet. Okay. I asked them during this call when I'm actively coaching them. I'm like, okay, what do they buy? What do they buy off you? He said, they don't buy anything off me. I said, well, they do, but only what they have to, because it's Freightliner, right? So they hardly buy anything. Okay. And why? Well, they have to buy everything from Oklahoma. Okay, that's fine. I'll tell you what, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go in there, you're going to lead the call. Okay, you're going to go ahead and call, all that other stuff, right? And then after you lead the call and guide the call, okay, I'm going to jump in if I feel needed, and we're going to go over this after we get back to the truck. Right? So it's great. So we're there. He goes up, talks to him. Hey, how you doing, Jose? Oh, doing pretty good, blah, blah, blah. This is my boss, Gilbert. So, all right, great. Yeah, I was just telling them that you guys have to buy everything off of Oklahoma. And first off, I mean, you're already creating that wall, but it's okay. I'm going to break right through it, right? So you create that wall and say, oh, I already told him I have to buy everything from Oklahoma. I already told me you have to buy from everything from Oklahoma, right? He says, hey, is there anything I can help you out with today? He's like, no, I'm good. Are you having any issues getting parts? That's what he says, right? And he says, yeah, I'm having a hard time getting trailer parts. So, oh, okay. Well, hey, you know what? Here's my card. I don't know if you got this already, but here's my card. Go ahead and call me if you need anything, okay? And at this moment, he's like, oh, okay. At this moment, this truck driver walks up, right? And he takes him out of the situation and says, I'm gonna take care of this guy real quick, right? So I talked to my guy, I'm like, I almost smack him upside the head. I said, are you kidding me? You're joking, right? He said, what? What? I said, dude, you just missed your freaking opportunity. He said, what opportunity? I said, fucking listen, excuse my language. Listen to their customer. Listen to the customer. Okay? The customer says he has an issue getting trailer parts. What the next question out of your mouth should be? It should be, what trailer parts are you having an issue getting? Can I help you? I'm here to help. I'm here for you. Right? That should would it. Oh, okay. I said, you know what? I'll take care of it from here. Let me jump in. So, all right, great. The guy comes back. He says, so you're having issues getting trailer parts? He's like, yeah, some of the parts are kind of hard to get over, everything like that. You know what I mean? And they've been back orders and stuff like that. I said, man, if you're having issues with trailer, you know, we carry a ton of trailer parts. We have access to we have over 1,000 different trailer parts in stock, and we got tons of vendors to help you out. You know, if there's any product that you need us to stock, then we could take care of you. You know what I mean? We're here for you. Whatever it is, you tell me you want to stock 10 of these and you want to keep them in hand just because you have a use of, 8 during a month or 5 during a month, I'll keep that stock for you. Right? He said, oh, really? He said, yeah. And then he said, but I got to get everything from Oklahoma. I'm like, oh, okay, here's a test, right? So I'm going to call them out on this, right? Because you get this a lot. Well, corporate tells me I got to buy from over here in this spot over here. Wait, great. That's fantastic, right? I'm not here to ruin that, right? I'm not saying that to a customer, but I'm just telling you how I view it, right? So you got to buy everything from Oklahoma? He says, yeah, I got to buy everything from Oklahoma. As this time, I am scanning this room. You always want to be aware of your surroundings. You want to see what products there. You want to have a quick eye, right? When you first walk up, you're having that quick eye, what you're looking out for, right? So I said, man, you got to buy everything from Oklahoma? He's like, yeah, I got to buy everything from Oklahoma. I see a set of landing gears. I was just like brand new on that trailer, right? So I go, man, you got to buy those landing gears, those joust landing, those things got to be an arm and a leg when it comes to freight all the way from Oklahoma to here. He's like, no, I actually buy those locally from Truck Pro. Right? So then I go in there and I said, man, you know what? If we could be competitively priced at a similar quality, at a similar price and a similar quality of product and keep them in stock for you, would you switch over to me? You know what? If you could do that, go ahead and shoot me a quote. I will switch over to you. If you keep them in stock and you match the price that I'm getting, I'll buy from you. I say, great. How many do you normally use during the, now you're asking that question, right? How many do you normally use? Oh, I use like 3 a month, 4 a month. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and go back to the office. We'll take care of that, everything like that, right? So, and I also have you a quote back tomorrow or later on this afternoon, right? You want to follow up. 80% of failures of sales is 9 times out of 10 is freaking follow up, because you don't follow up, you don't follow through, right? So next we're talking about, we're there. He's just like, man, you know what? I see a lot of Stemco. We carry a ton of Stemco product. He's just like, really? You know what? I just got from my corporate office, we switched over all of our trailers and this is a 500 unit plus fleet. We switched over all of our product to Stemco. We have to buy Stemco. I said, really? We could help you with that. We keep a lot of that in stock. He said, oh, really? Here, come walk over here to my desk. I got something to sell you. So he goes over there and we're walking, goes to the computer and he says, look, here's a letter from my corporate maintenance manager. He says we have to buy. I said, well, did he say where you have to buy it from? He said, no, we could buy them wherever the hell we want. I said, oh, great. He's like, you know what? We can keep that. If I keep that in stock for you and make sure you have all those zip torques and those wheel seals, those Voyagers and the hub caps and all that other stuff, the defender caps and all that, and even those hubs, would you switch over that business to us? Would you give us the opportunity? He said, you know what? Yeah, I will. You know what? Go ahead and here's my price. He says, you just be at this price and I'll buy it all from you. Right? There's your opportunity, right? Because it's not just given, it's created. We got there. We didn't just, we just show up. Oh, here you go. Right. So that's what this is about. Back to that, at the end of that call, At the end of that sales call, he was just like, man, I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, it's the way that you're selling, right? So back to this real quick. We're going to cover the goals of the cold call. We're going to investigate. We're going to identify the decision makers, right? There might be multiple. We're going to build that rapport, build that internal advocate, right? We're going to, and as we're building that rapport, we're shaking people's hand. We're getting we're getting to know everybody, right? We're building that rapport, finding common ground. We're identifying behavior styles, right? We're identifying the buying process, right? We identified the potential of the account. Okay. We identified who's their number one vendor and who they depend on. And we created an opportunity because we asked if they were tied to anybody, right? And we also address any type of issues that they have, right? So if they have any issues, and a key thing on quoting, when you're quoting, a lot of times my salesmen say, hey, I'm quoting this. Did they ask you to quote it? Quoting brake shoes. Did they ask you to quote brake shoes? Well, no, I said they were cheaper. And he said, okay, go ahead and give me a quote. Okay, so he told you to give you a quote. Did he say he was going to switch? Said, no. Well, then you might as well chuck that, take it and chuck it in the trash because it's literally it's not a tethered quote. You want to tether your quotes. Okay. You want to make sure, ask for that commitment, because if you say, if I could save you money on this, if I could do this, would you do that? Right? It's the oldest trick of the book, but it's not really a trick. You're just asking for a commitment, right? You're going to do all the work. You're going to do all the identifying. You're going to price it out. You're going to be competitive. You're going to do all this, keep it in stock, right? You're just asking for that business. Hey, if I could do this, would you switch over to me? Right? So when you come back and you go to that quote, guess what? You already have that commitment. And if you're there on the price and you're there on whatever the case is, on keeping it in the stock, maybe it's the same price. I always like to match the price, right? You sell off a price, you lose off the price, right? So 9 times out of 10, you get that business. That'll increase your close rate from close rate from 10 all the way up to freaking 60 just by doing that little trick right there. It's not even a trick. It's just helping somebody, right? And the last thing is setting that vigilant schedule, right? So have a goal when you're there, okay? This is just a quick video. I wanted to make this to help you guys. If you have any questions, you want me to touch base on any other videos, I'm going to go over later on how to identify potential, how to identify behavior styles, how to do all this other things to help you guys out in the field. Just let me know what you want. Leave your comments, your hate mail, whatever the hell you want, right? Just go ahead and leave it. Let me know what you think about the video. I appreciate you guys, and let's have a great day, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking the time.